the Mike Scully Show worldwide. Big man running the game, let them all testify. Hebrew Hammer dropping truth like a sermon. Every take he deliver got him shook, make him learning. Tricks, picks from the Bama side. He call it like he see it, put the numbers to the grind. Hillbilly from West Virginia, always keep it trill. Moonshine wisdom, got that old school feel. We debate till the clock run out, then laugh at the politics, cause it ain't worth the bout. It's the Mike Scully Show worldwide. Big man running the game, let them all testify. Hot takes, real talk, no lies. Swinging like a champ, we ain't never getting sidelined.
This is the Mike Scully Show.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to the Gentry Thomas Studios and the Mike Scully Show in beautiful Southwest Florida. Well, the NFL free agency and the tampering period has not disappointed. It has been off the chain, as my kids would say. But to talk about it, I've got in studio with me, I got our famous hillbilly from West Virginia, Mr. Sean O'Rourke.
Mr. Scully, I am tip-top. And if I may, can I make a quick announcement?
You sure can.
Listen, this is not my thing, but I know it's Trick and Elliott's. The head ball coach, Rich Rod, came out this week and said, no more dancing on TikTok. So I gotta stop some of my content. So.
Oh, boy. And joining me in studio, my ride or die from day one, from the University of South Alabama, the Trickster. What do you say, Tricky?
Hello, Scully.
Game on today, right?
It is game on.
My man. Okay. And the Hebrew Hammer. Sporting his
Mississippi.
Maryland #1, Elliott.
We got to start off with a correction.
What do you got?
The ball coach wears a visor in Gainesville, Florida.
Yes.
Rich Rod ain't the ball coach. He may be coaching your team, but he's not the head ball coach.
That would be the great old Steve Spurrier.
Correct.
Well, gentlemen, NFL free agency has not disappointed. It is, it's been actually hard to keep up with. There's been so much crap going on. I think the one big thing right now everybody's trying to figure out is Aaron Rodgers going to be a Steeler, or is he going to be a Giant, or is he going to be a Viking, or is he going to retire? What say my fellas?
I think when you look at the options of, is he a Viking, is he a Steeler, is he a Giant, or does he retire? Does it matter? Does it move the needle? Is he going to make any of those teams playoff teams or Super Bowl teams?
I think he makes the Steelers a...
Maybe. But
I can't say Super Bowl, but I say definitely maybe a little deeper run in the playoffs. Vikings, I can see him making them better.
I don't see it.
The
personally.
Giants, obviously, no. The Giants haven't been good since Phil Simms and Bill Parcells were there.
Well, there was a slight move before we came on air. I think I told you about that. The Steelers did sign Mason Rudolph today, which is not going to move the needle, but at least you have somebody that's,
so they signed a backup quarterback.
Basically, somebody that can manage the game. And I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is ahead of that anymore or not. I mean, what is he, 41 years old?
Or going to be 42.
Yeah. I agree with Elliott. Is he really gonna get you to the Super Bowl at this point?
But didn't the Steelers Najee Harris just leave?
Najee's gone.
So I love that you brought in DK Metcalf. Great signing.
We signed your backup running back.
Kenny Gainwell.
Gainwell, yeah.
But he's not a 3-down back. He's a nice player.
Well, they still have Warren. At running back. So, look, the Steelers aren't making any bit. I mean, the DK Metcalf move was kind of.
I love the DK Metcalf, but you're half pregnant. I can't.
Well, you got two nut jobs on the outside. You're going to be fighting over the ball.
They're going to be fighting over uniform number 14. Is what they're going to be fighting over.
There's, I think, 3 14s on there. Could potentially wear 14.
Good luck with that locker room.
Yeah.
Well, the DK trade was a big one. Yeah, but then I think the shocker in the whole thing was the trade for your boy Geno Smith to the Raiders. Then Sam Darnold signs free agency with the Seahawks. Which has been crazy.
Which again, as the Seahawks, are you tearing it down by getting rid of your best wide receiver and your starting quarterback to now put, $35 million a year into a quarterback? Somebody's got to explain this logic to me. I don't get it.
And Sam had a great year, but I think that was more of a product of Minnesota's system and the talent on Minnesota than so much of Sam. What do you say, Trickster?
I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to decide if he wants to be like Brett Favre and go play for Minnesota. I think he's washed up. I think all he wants is the last 15 minutes of fame he can possibly get. So he's going to milk this out as long as he can, much like my two friends here. and he's going to do everything he can to stay in the spotlight for as long as he can until he's forced not to be.
Well, the rumor on the street is he's asking for 2 years, $90 million.
Yeah, he's smoking
I don't think
peyote.
Well,
Pittsburgh will never pay that.
all I know is if I'm milking this thing out, let's milk this bad boy. Let's.
wasn't it. That's the same trajectory as Favre, right? He went from
Minnesota.
Green Bay to the Jets to Minnesota. Yeah.
That's what I said. If he's trying to be like Favre, that's what he's going to do.
Well, there's too much in common there if he does that. I mean, that's ridiculous. But I would, if of my three, if I was him, I'd go play in Minnesota. They have a better chance of going deeper because the Lions have lost stuff in free agency. They've had injuries. They still don't know if they're going to be able to repeat the year they had. I think the Bears may have had the best free agent move in that division right now to getting better. And they obviously their new head coaches that came from the Lions.
So I have a question, and maybe you guys can answer it because I don't know. How is Favre revered in Green Bay? Do they hate him for going to Minnesota? Because that is one of the most
No, I don't think they care.
rivalries there are in division wise.
Yeah, I think he still gets a standing ovation when he walks into Lambeau.
Do you think they
He
get the
is
same for Aaron?
beloved there.
Do you think they do the same for Aaron?
100%. Maybe now, not necessarily next year while he's playing. You move a year out of your, you're at the end of your career. If Green Bay wanted to keep either of them, they would have. Green Bay didn't want to keep either of them, and
It was time for them to move on.
Correct.
Which they've done.
Okay.
it is a business.
I mean, between the two of them, didn't they have almost 30 years covered at quarterback?
I know Favre was there in the 90s.
And my son Jackie tells me Jordan Love's going to play there till the mid 30s. So
What'd you think of the
2030s?
What'd you think of the Redskins move?
Oh, they're getting.
I think they had the Bears. Admittedly, had a great week, but you can't look past the Redskins.
Well, the Laramie Tunsil trade
Huge.
was. I mean, Jaden Daniels has got to be going. Yeah, man,
And Debo.
and Debo Samuel as well.
Yeah.
Well, they had the luxury of having the rookie contract. That's why they have the money to do this.
To do that, right? And there's been mass deportation. Not to sound like Tom Homan, but mass deportation from the 49ers.
Yeah.
And I saw they signed who they signed. They signed Mac Jones today as a backup quarterback
Yeah, the 49ers.
because they still haven't gotten Purdy under contract.
Scully, what would you say the second most important player on an NFL team is? We all agree probably quarterback's one. I would say left tackle. You may say center, but what's
Well, the center's the smartest guy in the line, but the left tackle from an offensive side, and then I think you have to have a dynamic edge rusher on the defensive side.
huge move for the Redskins then?
Well,
I think.
to me, it goes to a philosophy. If I'm starting an NFL team today, or if I become a GM, I'm building from the lines out. You give me a tremendous offensive line and a tremendous defensive line. I don't care if I have the best wide receivers that I can find running backs off the scrap heap. I don't even think you need the top end first round draft pick quarterback. It certainly helps. But if you have an offensive line that can run the ball and give you some time passing, and you can get a defensive line that can put pressure on the quarterback, it allows you to free up to do a lot of other things.
Well, I see.
Whereas those that build the outside with high-priced wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, et cetera, great cornerbacks, if you can't pressure the ball or you can't stop the pass rush, it doesn't matter.
Well, I'll give you two glaring differences. I think Howie Roseman has done that with the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
He's built up both lines and have been able to protect Jalen Hurts, create holes for Saquon Barkley, and they've been able to be really, really strong, solid on defense. Now, he drafted the University of Georgia on defense, as we've discussed a bunch of times. But the one team that's failed miserably at that is the Cincinnati Bengals. They have not been able to keep Burrow upright, but they've got all that money invested up with Chase and T. Higgins on the outside, and they can't rush the passer and they can't protect their passer.
Well, they don't have it with Chase yet, do they? They haven't come to a deal that I'm aware of. $1 more.
Well, he's under contract. They just tagged. Excuse me.
I know they tagged
T. Higgins,
but they haven't given Chase a new contract, have they?
He's under contract for this year.
Because he was almost set out last year. He set out all preseason.
Remember the $1 more than
correct.
Exactly.
So I can almost, if he almost didn't play last year, I find it exceptionally hard to believe that he's going to play this year.
Well, and they've got,
especially after the year he had.
but Cincinnati, they've said, I think Trey Hendrickson's
He's up for a contract too.
But they've already told him, you can explore deals, and he's got contracts negotiated with other teams, but they're trying to negotiate with Cincinnati for what the compensation to trade for him is. And that's the sticking point. Teams have already negotiated the price for him in terms of what his salary will be, not what the trade compensation is.
What's more important, signing Hendricks or signing Chase?
I'm of belief of Hendricks.
Me
And
too.
I think it's
I agree.
Chase.
Really?
They don't have an offense without him.
It's
Last
true.
year, they have no offense without him.
But it just kind of goes in that conversation we just had.
They can't protect Burrow.
Protection or not, he was only bright star to that entire offense. I mean, look, he had one of the best years he's ever had, and they still didn't pay him.
Yeah, you know the big move
And
they
also
made last
still
year.
didn't win.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
move they made last
Without
year.
paying him. So is it? I mean,
The loss.
imagine how much they're going to suck when they don't.
Yeah, the loss of Joe Mixon last year to me was big. Even
I
though
would
Chase
agree.
Brown, a kid from University of Illinois, did a great job, but
I think
he was
so
not
too.
Joe Mixon.
I think Joe Mixon was highly undervalued there.
Well, you had I saw a video and interview this morning from our quarterback in Buffalo, Josh Allen, that was incredible.
The NFL MVP, that guy.
Well, he talked about he did the Tom Brady thing, took the reduction to make room. Said he's got the house he needs, the fiance he needs, the car he needs, doesn't need anything more than that.
Wait, he just signed a 2-year extension that gives him $250 million guaranteed, averages $55 million.
Well,
a year.
he
Yeah,
said
but,
he was offered more, and he said, "What's another $5 million a year for me?"
Yeah, they said, why aren't you the 60 million quarterback? So it is what it is. And you'll watch that will get readjusted and deferred over time, like Mahomes has done for the Chiefs.
Plus the cap's going up. I mean, it went up. How much did it go up this year? Meaning for the season.
It has almost doubled over the last 10 years.
Right.
So this is why sign them earlier, younger, because the longer you delay, the longer the contracts get bigger and bigger and bigger.
I agree. Look at Dak Prescott. You're straight on point. But then at the same time, look at Chase. Meaning, it's not enough money. I want more, even though I signed you for a contract where he's making $21 million and he's still not happy.
Well, I got a question. We stopped this conversation pregame, and I think we need to put it out right now. What's more important right now, the coach of the team or the GM of the team? Scully?
I told you when we were in the green room that I believe it's the GM.
I 100% think
I would
it's the
agree
GM.
with that.
But
too.
I absolutely think it's the GM. But at the same time, I think it's the coordination of the GM and the coach together. When the GM, we were talking about what's going on in Dallas for basketball.
Yeah, we did.
You trade your best player and the coach has no idea that you're doing that. That's dysfunction in a team.
And
if we talked about the Bears never having alignment between their coach, their GM, and their quarterback. When you can line all of those up and now you're rowing together in the same direction, that's when it makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, and look at your top teams. The Lions, great harmony between the GM and the head coach. The Rams, I believe Howie's got it with
the Eagles by far. They're the model.
The Chiefs, and the ones that have been successful. I believe Denver has it now with Sean Payton and I can't remember the gentleman's name. This is the GM, but so that's good there. All right, so you had two other big quarterback signings, huge quarterback signings. I know these are hot on Patrick's list. Justin Fields to the Jets and Daniel Indiana Jones to the Colts.
Could care less. Don't give about either one of them.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, and actually, the timing's off now. So, yes, I don't care about them. Next.
Devontae Adams to the Rams?
Don't care. Oh, old, washed up, done.
Now, where do you think Cooper Kupp's going to go?
I don't know. I hope somewhere that appreciates him like the Rams did. I think they would love to have kept him, but they just couldn't afford him. I wish all these people well, but I don't care. They're not going to move the needle.
What's the one move the needle for you this week, Patrick?
Nothing has moved the needle. And I think the draft is going to be more important than any free agency you've had. I mean, if you're moving the needle, it's going in the wrong direction because usually you want to be positive, but everything San Fran is doing, I think, is awful and it's going to hurt it's going to move the needle the wrong way. Everything they're doing.
Well, I'm going to hit you with one more question before we close the first segment. There's big talk right now running around the National Football League that Shadur Sanders' stock is dropping and that he may fall to the first round. Do you think that's valid?
Well, I will tell you something that I heard today. It was Mel Kiper, and if he says, do you like him or do you love him? About 50 times to the point where I had to change the channel because he wouldn't shut up saying the same thing over and over. Apparently, there's one team out there that loves him, and everyone else just likes him. So, yes, his stock is falling, and of course, they're blaming it on everything but the actual gameplay that he has, from his dad to the college he went to everything else but his ability. His stock has dropped after interviewing with these people because they think he's going to be a distraction, which is what you get with Deion Sanders. But you also get the spectacular plays and the great guy on defense. I don't know if he's his dad. I think a lot of people are maybe wondering if they are, if he is, and if he's not, is he worth wasting a first, second, or third round pick on? Not round or number 1, number 2, number 3 pick of the first round on. Because if he busts, then you look like a jackass.
So what you're telling me, what I'm reading between the lines from my man, he's Bo Callahan.
Yes.
Okay.
See, one of
little
the
draft day reference there. The great Kevin Costner.
He is.
people were talking about their love of Cam Ward,
Mhm.
and should teams move up even just one spot to make sure you go get him. And they're talking about trading another one, having the Giants. I think they're drafting number 2,
Mhm.
trading next year's number 1 to move up one spot to go get him.
To go get Cam Ward.
They're
To go get
saying
Cam
that he
Ward.
might be the number 1 overall pick.
I think that is the dumbest
He's
thing
minus
you can do.
275.
If you are drafting that high, you have a lot of needs. A quarterback does not solve when you have a dozen different needs. And giving up draft capital, particularly a future first round, and particularly if you're playing a rookie quarterback, the chances of you drafting again in the top half
Mhm.
to give that away, massive mistake.
I would agree.
And that is not me disliking Cam Ward. That is the value of what you're putting into it for the value you will get out of it. Would never do it.
Okay.
What did you hear the dumbest take of the week? Former Steeler Ryan Clark came out and said the only reason Shador's not getting any love is because he's a black quarterback.
With money. That's
yeah.
what I've heard too, with money.
Yeah.
Black athletes
which
with
is
money.
insane. Which, by the way, the number 1 pick in this draft is going to be what? A black quarterback
Right.
from Miami.
I think it's stupid.
What are some of the top 10, quarterbacks, paid quarterbacks in the NFL right now? They're all black. It's just, I don't understand this race baiting, trying to get people.
That's
riled up.
ESPN.
Maybe in
Yeah.
the 70s and 80s, maybe, but in 2025, it doesn't matter.
It was one of
That's
one of the
done.
worst takes I've seen.
Well, I'm
That's
gonna
awful.
I'm gonna close the first segment. RC was a hell of a player. Would hit you like a ton of bricks, but the takes he's had over the last 12 months on ESPN have been way too freaking woke, and I think he's got CTE because he's off the freaking reservation. And
You talking Antonio Brown CTE or
I don't know. Well, that boy's off the planet. But I'm an RC fan. I rooted for him when he played, but he has had some crazy ass takes that I just don't agree with.
Who was the
So-
Chargers linebacker?
Junior Seau?
Yeah, it is. I was going to say Junior Seau.
Seau. That's
Well, you go back and you start digging into players' names like that. That's
Yeah.
my era.
I know.
And there's a lot of guys who suffered from that were friends, foes, and it's sad. But he has been off the reservation, and I'm disappointed. So as we go to break, we want to thank my good friend Frank Papasaduro and Jan Pro of Southwest Florida. If you need commercial custom cleaning, please call us at 224-239-9333. We'll be back in just a minute with the Mike Scully Show. Thank you. Well, welcome back to the Mike Scully Show. We can't do without you. As a reminder, please follow, like, and subscribe. We had something just occur during the break. We got a phone call from Frank Papasaduro, and he reminded me, Patrick, he wanted me to wish you congratulations. He told me that you had a hole-in-one on a par 4.
I did.
But then he informed me that it was, and I was all excited for you. Then he told me it was on Golden Tee.
Still quite an accomplishment, but also true. Very true. And that is true. But while we're on that subject of browbeating, I've actually had a hole-in-one on a par 5
How the hell did you do that?
on Golden Tee. Mark King lined it up for me. He will verify this, and I smoked it. If you got him, and it went like this in the island and went whoop straight down.
No way.
Swear to God, you can ask Mark.
Well, Frankie, we appreciate you doing that. Congratulations,
Yes, thank you,
Trickster.
Frankie.
I was all excited. I thought he was going to tell me it was on like Dunes number 4 or something like that. And
No, I've never had one of those, unfortunately, which I would much rather have.
okay. Well, let's get into my man E's happy place. The tournaments have started in college hoops.
Yes,
we get 2 tickets to the gun show today.
Correct.
Well, we can't.
Sun's out, guns out.
He's got it on, but we also came into studio, and there is a very happy Mr. Delicious in town that Marquette survived their first round
Came back
matchup
from 10
against.
down.
Yeah,
Cheat code.
Yep.
Will you please refresh the audience's?
So he hates when I bring this up, and I'm sure I'll be getting a phone call later tonight. We always bet against Marquette first half, and then we take the live line on Marquette second half.
What
And
was
it's-
it? Blazing Saddles? It's two. It's two. It's two.
Down 10 at the
What
half.
they say about you people?
Comes back to win by 1.
It's two.
Yeah.
Marquette always slow starts and finishes strong.
Well, it's a good night for us because that means there'll be a happy Mr. Delicious at some
This is
point
true.
later this evening.
And they win St. John's.
Yeah. We also saw there you go, and we also saw Cooper Flagg go down. With an injury. How
They
serious
said
is it?
sprained ankle.
Yeah.
Sprained
X-rays
ankle?
negative.
Okay,
That he
that's
came
good.
out without a boot on and sat on the bench.
You probably won't see him the rest of the ACC
Why?
tournament though.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you should.
And they struggled. I know we're going to get into probably Player of the Year today, but that
Mhm.
I'm sure you'll get into that, Elliot. They really struggled today without him.
What about the other kid that hurt his shoulder? Malik, is that right? I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure.
For Duke?
Yeah.
So they had 2 big injuries.
Yes, 2 starters go down.
I didn't get a chance to see that game. Was working, so
Yeah, he hurt his shoulder somehow. I don't know the details to it, but he apparently is not good. I mean, I don't know.
we saw Iowa State go down
Yes,
to
I believe
BYU.
those were someone's picks.
18 3-pointers they gave up this morning. They're ridiculous.
My pick's still alive.
Yes, I did pick them. No, you don't deserve to win when you give up 18 threes.
No doubt.
But how about let's give BYU a little bit of credit. Their coach leaves to go to Kentucky, and now you come back and you're 4th in the Big 12.
Do you know
and,
where he came from? The coach for BYU that's at BYU now? What program?
Great question.
I don't know.
want to say Utah State, but
Yeah, I think you're right.
Utah
I
State
think-
or Utah Valley?
no, I don't think Utah Valley. I think Utah State.
I'm gonna
But
go with
don't-
somewhere in
don't hold
Utah.
me- Don't hold me to that one.
You really want to face BYU in the big dance though, with those guys shooting lights out?
Yes, because if they are off, you're going to beat them by 40.
Well,
If they're on, there's a good chance you're going to lose. But come on, if they're off, you're going to win by 40
I
points.
don't know. You got to pray to white guys on the bench could all shoot threes. I mean, they're not all going to be cold.
Well, what do you think? Texas? Does Texas get in? Their bubble team?
I think how they play today against Texas A&M will matter. Winning yesterday helped their cause. Ohio State losing yesterday, goodbye.
Right.
Don't need to see you.
Because Iowa was a bubble team too.
Yeah, I was.
They're
15th.
18 and 15 now.
Yeah, but they were 15th in the Big Ten and barely got into the.
well,
Big
they're still
Ten
alive.
tournament.
They give,
Still alive. I mean, but they're gonna. Iowa's going to have to win at least 2 more
they
rounds.
play my
got a
Illini
chance.
tonight at 6:30.
They gotta win
They have a
tonight?
Chance.
They play the Illini tonight.
And then winner gets the boys.
The boys.
The Crab Five.
Arkansas get in. They're a bubble team.
I think they lost last night. That was
No,
a
they
late night
lost
game.
right before we came
they-
in on
they
that
lost
last
today.
second 3-pointer.
To
To Ole Miss.
Yeah, and I lost on the hook. on
They're
that.
gonna that talk about a nervous couple of days. You're gonna be sitting waiting around, and even if they do get in, we know they're going to Dayton because last 4 at-larges go to Dayton to play play-ins on Tuesday.
Now, what about UNC? If UNC they were beating Wake Forest when we came on air.
This is a must-win to beat
They'd be
Wake Forest
22 and 12 if they won.
Yeah, except they're 1-11 going into today's game against Quad 1 teams, which means they haven't beaten anybody of significance. If you get a lot of
They
wins,
they won.
beating
They
up
won
midgets.
by 9.
What do you think? They got to go to the final of the ACC tournament? to even
I
have
think
a game?
I think they need to. They're going to play Duke next, which means I think they got to win, if not keep this unbelievably close. If it ends up being a 10-point game, I don't think they're in
Without
personally.
Flag.
Again, who knows if he's going to play, but whether he does or not, you got to go out and show up and win.
Mhm.
Duke does not have to. North Carolina
does.
North Carolina had a chance with Duke at home on senior day at UNC to make a statement, and they didn't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. It's all right.
I was just going to say, I don't see how Arkansas, they're not stressing anything. They're in the middle of the pack of the SEC that's supposed to be getting 13 teams in. They're not stressing. They're
Were they like 7 or 8 in the SEC?
Yeah, I think they're 8. I mean, I can count it up here in a minute, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure they're 8th or 9th. They're certainly not 12th or 13th.
If they're getting 12 or 13, then they're going to
part
get
of
in.
it is
So there's no
but
nervousness.
you look at it. Don't just look at what the seed number is. The bunching of the SEC teams were all in that. I think the SEC had 18 games in their conference. I think, and they're bunched up together. You look at how many 8 and 10 teams are listed there in conference record. That's sort of what you're starting to see.
Well,
And you
that's
see the
fair. But
drop-off
Vandy
too.
was one who dropped. Mississippi State, Georgia was one that dropped. That were 8 and 10. Arkansas has no. They are in. Lock it down.
Well, does Georgia or Oklahoma get in?
I think Georgia, yes. Oklahoma, depending on what Oklahoma does.
They got Kentucky next.
Right. If they beat Kentucky, certainly helps the case. Lose, I think Oklahoma's out. Oklahoma started 13-0.
Yeah.
And I think 6-12 in conference the rest of the way. So you're 19-2 going into the SEC tournament. Got a win last night.
That is
But,
correct. Every loss they've had has been against the
Oklahoma,
SEC team.
Oklahoma beat Georgia last night, didn't they?
Yes,
They
they
did.
did. Yeah.
Yep.
So is
So
that,
again, this is where you're gonna, everybody wants to say, oh, they just beat Georgia, therefore they should get in over.
right?
Again, now you look at total body of work, what you did. We mentioned this a couple weeks ago.
The last 10.
In the last 10 does not factor in anymore,
Right.
even though I believe it should.
Yeah, it's
how
how
you're
you're
playing. But the skewed conference strength of schedule, are you playing the teams that in the Big Ten, the 3 teams that did make the Big Ten tournament, or the bottom half of the SEC? Did you play those teams twice versus
Right.
getting stuck playing Alabama, Tennessee,
Auburn.
Florida, Auburn
Mm-hmm.
multiple times, which may lead to more losses?
Which I think Kentucky's a great example of that. I know they played Auburn. I know they played Alabama. I know they played, if not twice, but I know they played Florida twice. I mean, and they played Tennessee twice. So, I mean, Kentucky had that
And
upper
that loaded schedule.
They did.
So even though they may have a worse conference
Record.
record. They had a tougher time of it.
correct.
How many does the SEC get in? 11's a record. What do you think, Elliot?
I think they're easily over 11. It's going to be 12, if not 13. And the other part, again, Patrick hated this, so I will give him the floor to call me the name that he called me during the break. It was fair, but say that and then I'll speak my piece.
2028 politician running for presidency, Elliot.
Because
He's got my vote.
he hated the fact that I did not give
He
the
didn't,
direct
he, didn't
answer.
he didn't pick a side, GM or head coach. Well, I think they got to work together. No, the question is, who do you think is more important, the GM or the head coach? Your answer was
Well,
correct.
here's your politician answer on this
Your
one.
answer was correct, by the way, but you didn't pick one.
How many that 12th versus 13th team in the SEC is going to depend on, do bids get stolen? A team like Memphis is going to make the tournament out of the AAC,
Whether they win
no
the
matter what.
conference tournament or not.
Correct.
Yep.
So if you get FAU is not going to make the dance this year. FAU somehow wins the AAC,
Yep.
steals a bid from one of the at-large teams. If things like that
And
happen,
so far,
in
nothing's
other-
happened like that.
Correct. There has been
Like
no,
even Gonzaga, St. Mary played in the championship game.
They've
Those
helped-
two were
they've
making-
Now,
helped
there
serve.
have been plenty of
Yeah.
number one seeds that have lost, but those teams would not have gotten the at-large bid.
Correct.
So this is where you look and say, how many bids will actually get stolen by teams that wouldn't make the tournament, which could shrink the ability for SEC to get that 13th team, potentially even that 12th team.
How much credit do you guys give to the SEC commissioner? I think I went back and watched the press conference he did a couple years ago. He was just hoping to get 4 teams into the dance. And they've made a real commitment to basketball. They were dominating. We all know this. We were dominating college football for years. How much credit do you guys give the SEC for really going after another revenue source?
I don't give any to him. He didn't do anything.
To Sankey?
How much credit does Philadelphia Eagles give to Roger Goodell?
Yeah.
None. Now, the schools themselves of making basketball a focal point, hiring the good coaches, hiring the good ADs, that I think makes a bigger play of the who should benefit from them doing well. But
They've
the
also
commissioner
recruited
didn't
the
do-
talent
He
as
did
well.
2 things, Jack and shit, and Jack left town.
I will also say that the Big 12 commissioner was on just before, during halftime of the most recent game we were watching. And he wants to expand the tournament to 76 teams.
I disagree with that.
First off, do not expand this thing. It's already been expanded too much. Do not expand it. But the reason why he wants 76 teams is so that he can get 8-10 teams in. The ACC
Right. All about
wants
money.
it expanded because they want more teams.
You're talking about Yormac, which, by the way, we
It's
talked
all
about this.
about the money.
Bozo.
We were talking about this in the green room before we came in. How bad is that Big 12 court in Kansas City?
Oh my God.
Atrocious.
I think I still have a migraine from it. And I had to watch it because I had Kansas over last night, team total, which they hit before overtime, by the way. It was 82, 83 went into overtime.
I took 6 Advil at his house when we were having our meeting before come to the show. Then we went and had lunch, and getting in the car on the way over after watching those games, I took 6 more.
I mean,
it is hideous.
I feel like that's
X's and I's.
It's that thing, if you bring it really close to your face and then you slowly move it out, you can see the 3D picture coming at you.
I still,
you know
those things in the mall, still
Yes.
can't do it.
Well,
still never saw it. I'm like the kid in Mallrats.
It's
I brought
always a
sandwich
sailboat.
and
It's always a
soda.
sailboat or a mountain. But that's what it looks like to me.
Okay. Well, we will next week. We'll have our Hoop Madness show just before the tournament starts, and have you guys make your picks once we see the brackets are out. The one thing I want to solve today, though, I want you to pick your. I believe it's down to 2. The player of the year. Cooper Flagg from Duke, 19.4 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 4.2 assists, and then Janai Broom from Auburn, 18.6, 10.6, and 3.3. Is it a co-player of the year type situation, or is one, do you believe, stood out over the other?
Well, I have a quick question for Elliot because I know he'll know. I know, is Broom a freshman as well?
No, Broom's a senior.
And you give it to the senior.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it always comes down to me a little bit, as we saw today. How much does that individual player mean to his team? And we saw what happened when Cooper was out today. But I tend to agree with you, Trick. I think Broom's a better overall player this year. And I don't think Auburn would miss as much as Cooper being out as Duke, but that's just my opinion.
I don't care what year in school they are. I don't care about how many points per game you have. Janai Broom went out and dominated the Maui Invitational. Auburn has, I believe it's now 16 quad 1 wins to Duke's, I think it's 6, maybe 7. I don't believe there's been a team in history that has had 16 quad 1 wins. To me, that.
I think I heard Bruce Pearl say they have 7 more than any team record-wise has had in the last 10 years.
Correct. I mean, they are far and away, if you were comparing resume of teams, and I understand this is not a team event, thing, but he's played every one of these games against absolute top-level competition where the ACC just is not deep, does not have enough strength, does not have enough talent. To me, it's Janai Broom's award by a landslide.
Even with Maryland in the...
Listen, don't get me to have...
Maryland's not in the ACC.
Maryland's not in the ACC anymore.
They're in the Big Ten.
I'm going back to my
No,
childhood.
but I'm talking to Juju.
We won't talk about West Virginia losing
For
to Colorado.
Juju Reese to not be on the to only be an honorable mention, not even one of the top 3 teams, and not being on the all defensive team, criminal. I don't know who's judging these things. I don't know what these sports writers are, but terrible. Like Kim Jong-il, terrible.
Oh, I'm just sitting here thinking that, Bruce Pearl saying 7 more than anybody. I don't know how that's possible when Florida only has 4 losses, and they were all to quad 1 teams, which means
count your quad 1 wins.
I understand, but
No, but I think his reference was that they've had 7 more than any team in the last 10 years. Not counting, obviously Florida's now may have jumped in that as 10 or 11.
right. That's what I'd like to go back and look and see because they didn't play all patsies to start the season. I mean, they actually played some decent teams.
No, I think it's just previous years.
And then
is
almost
where it's
every
referenced.
team they played in the SEC was certainly a quad 1.
Yeah.
Almost, not all, but most.
Yeah, it was preference over the last year prior to this year.
Not counting this year.
Correct.
That's what
Prior
I'm
to
saying.
this year, more quad
That's what I
1
was saying
wins.
here, because Pearl does like to be the do it.
Well, Bruce and I
Proud
go way
peacock.
back when he did
Proud
some
peacock. Then do
shifty
it.
stuff when he was at Iowa coaching against Illinois. We won't get into that.
Who's Florida waiting on for tomorrow? Who?
I
get to-
believe they play Kentucky.
You get the winner of the
They're
Kentucky.
the 2 seed. They got the late night game.
I think it's Kentucky,
tomorrow.
Oklahoma.
You get the winner of that game.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, because Kentucky's the 7th seed, I believe.
Yeah, I think
All right. Well, we will have plenty of basketball talk next week on our Hoops,
we get Mizzou versus LSU winner.
Hoops
Did it
Madness show.
change?
Thank you, boys, in the back. I want to transition as we
I had
close
Florida
out
on
the
the
first,
bottom.
the second segment. The Players' Championship started today.
TPC.
The TPC. And we've had something happen this week to me was very depressing because I believe it's the end. Tiger ruptured his Achilles on Tuesday morning or Monday. Maybe it was even last week, but we got news that he had it and ruptured his Achilles.
Again.
I don't think he's ever ruptured his Achilles.
Yeah, not his Achilles.
Apparently, he partially did it when he had the ACL when he won the tournament.
Well, when he went out he won at Torrey in 2008.
Supposedly, it was torn.
Okay. Well, he's 49 years old, going to be 50.
Yep.
And as much as it
do you
depresses
heal like
the
you
hum-
used to, Scully?
What's that?
Do you heal like you used to?
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm 80.
I hate it, man. It sucks.
Do you think he's got 4 days of championship golf in him?
No.
4 days in a row? I don't think so.
Not coming
either.
off. This,
I don't think he's got 4 holes of championship.
I think this is 12. This is a 12 to 18 month recovery.
Although everyone said it about the car wreck, which was gruesome.
Well, they actually should have. He's even said it. He's on record saying it. They should have amputated his leg. That's how bad that wreck was. So, but it's I think the golf world has
Taking a
unfortunately seen the last of my friend, and it's very depressing.
Can I give you a silver lining?
Yes,
His son's coming up.
Charlie's awesome. Yeah,
He's coming up.
And Sam, she just won the state title in Florida for women's soccer, the high school championship. So, which was great. But the Scotty Scheffler going for a three-peat at the TPC. But I'm gonna end this segment on golf this week. We'll get into more as the Masters comes around the corner. But did you see what that little bitch Rory McIlroy did?
I missed it.
Can't stand the guy.
This is basketball season, Scully. I'm not sure if you're aware.
I know.
So he was in a practice round on Wednesday, practice round, mind you, and he hit his tee shot into the water, and a spectator yelled, "Same as Augusta in 2011," and he picks up his tee, walks over, and takes the guy's phone and walks away. It's all on video.
We don't know what was done with the phone or anything, but he was being just a little bitch.
I'd like to see him take your phone
Oh, that would not have happened.
or take mine. Not that I'm a big dude
Because that
anyway,
little
but I'd be
crapper
like,
I can
"Can
fit
help
in
you?"
my pocket.
I don't like the guy. It's just another example of
So
why.
he just hold on. He just walks up to this dude.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
got
here
it
it
right
is.
here. Watch. This is it. Walks over. He's mad. Hey, can I see your phone? Yep. And just walks away and takes it.
Did he do something funny with it? Maybe.
Yeah, there's going to come a time I'm going to get so upset with him. I'm going to end him because I've got a story about this little fucker.
Did he do something funny with it? Maybe.
I've been begging you to tell
and
that
that looks
story.
like a kid, by the way.
That would end him.
Was that a kid?
No, he was.
He looked like he was 11-teen.
He's not 11, but I hope he hits it in the water 17 times this weekend.
Wow, I didn't see that.
Can I ask you a question, Scully?
You sure
Before
can.
you sound off, we talked about this a little bit on the green room. You guys might not know this. What did you think about them adding the tree back on number 16?
Oh, that was cool. Number 6.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I thought it was cool. And they got to shape it under the deal on the
So
T-ball.
I don't know if you guys have ever played there. They brought the tree back with the overhang.
I believe they lost it during a hurricane.
Storm, the
Yeah.
storm knocked it down. Wow, that's you talk about kicking someone when they're down.
But listen, man, the TPC is great. I don't know if there will be able to pull video in this. Even this morning, did you see what Spieth did on 17? He hit his first. The flag's always in the back on day one, and he overcooked it and put it in the drink. Goes to the drop area, jars it for a par.
Did he hold for a par?
Yeah,
Well, weren't there 2
unbelievable
hole-in-ones
shot.
yesterday on it?
Yeah,
The
the
one there was a caddy. Did you see? One was a caddy. The place was going nuts.
Okay.
Yeah, so
No,
it's a great
it's a
tournament.
special tournament.
It is.
It's the PGA Tour's marquee event.
Agreed.
The 5th major.
It is
Yeah.
the 5th major.
It's they
I've
call it
actually
the
been
fifth
there.
major. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Are you allowed to go back?
I'm sure I could. That's when I had the PGA pass. The guy took my credit card and my license and says, you can go anywhere but the TV trailers.
That's
And he
awesome.
wasn't wrong. It was a lot of fun.
That's cool. Well, we're going to end that with golf. We're going to move on and have you guys come back. I've heard we've got some really good final thoughts today. So we'll be back with the Mike Scully Show. Please follow, like, and subscribe. We can't do without you. A big shout out to our man Bob Hammer at Coastal Title and his beautiful wife Ruta. And we'll be back with the Mike Scully Show in just 1 minute. Thank you. Welcome back to the Mike Scully Show. Again, a big shout out to my man Bob Hammer at Coastal Title. Well, gentlemen, final thoughts today. I'm going to start with my good friend, the Hillbilly, and the Hillbilly Network News. What do you got for me today, Shawnee?
You sure you want me to go first?
I'm going to let you go first.
All right. Well,
Like Ricky,
it's gonna be hard.
Ricky Henderson, you're our leadoff hitter.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top last week, but
Fries in the bag, baby.
It's coming. Boys, I want to point out something. Norm Macdonald made a career on Saturday Night Live by doing what? Banging on O.J. Simpson every single weekend. And Patrick, your girlfriend AOC came out this week and made 2 more stupid statements.
Just
So-
two? Only 2?
Only
My
2.
girlfriend.
Only
You pick
2.
up on 2. It's supposed to my girlfriend.
So you're probably going, Hillbilly, you're going to talk about AOC this week. Wrong.
Wrong.
All right.
Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, we might go back to that, but it's just like beating up on a blind redheaded stepchild. I mean, you just can't do it.
It gets old after a little while.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about Angel Reese and the WNBA. This chick literally came out this week and said, not everybody comes out just to watch one player, and that they should sit out to get more money. Now, I'm going to break this down for you boys. Angel, with some facts. Your home attendance at Chicago Sky was 8,575.
But watch this video.
Well, that's how she pads her stats. I don't even have to look.
She gets 7 rebounds on 6 missed shots.
Yeah, unbelievable. Boys, she gets the Sky averages 8,575. They had 2 home games against the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. They had to move the arena, and they got over 16,000. So Caitlin Clark filled up another arena, what you normally get on top of what your attendance was, and you want to say people are coming out to watch you? Sweetheart, that's not the case.
May I say something?
Go right ahead.
I have 2 quotes that come to mind real quick. One is from Tombstone. Well, bye. And the other one is from Friday. Bye, Felicia.
Well, I know she only lasted 2 years in College Park, Maryland, but I'm going to break some more facts down on you. Princess, this is how the real world works. Your revenues have gone up. You did $200 million last year, but you have not made a profit in 29 years. The conservative estimate this year is that you lost $40 million. A lot of it has to do because you wanted to take private planes and not fly coach like Dr. Heben, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's not how things work in the real world. So I'm going to tell you, Princess, this is what's going to happen. You either get it together, take your little check from the NBA, get your DEI promos outside of it, and fuck off. Otherwise, you're going to be filling fries in the bag at Arby's.
I bet she's out of the league in 3 years.
Fuck that.
That's right.
Do you have permission to carry that gun that you were just holstering and just firing bullets?
Because it
He's
is the
fine.
Angel Reese at McDonald's.
I asked you guys if you wanted me to go first.
I go to the John Cena. All right, Hammer. He's giving you 2 weeks in a row. A fairly tough act
Again,
to follow.
I don't.
What do you got for me?
I can't disagree with anything you said there, except maybe the shot at Heben. Maybe
That was the best part.
that
a
cut
body
deep.
bag.
That cut
Cut me
deep.
deep
All
straight.
right, so
Mr. Delicious is
what
going to
I-
like that one.
There's a lot of things that I love about.
He's still at
college basketball.
Fridays waiting.
A lot of things that I love about college basketball, and we're going to talk a lot more now that we'll know the brackets next week to talk about that and some different stuff. But part of what makes it unique is the stories that nobody's ever really going to ever hear or know. Let's go to Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville.
Ooh.
All right. First team to punch their ticket this year. Their coach, hired 6 years ago, took a pair of scissors, framed them, and put them over the door. Day one when he was hired. Said, guys, this is what we were playing for. So as they won the tournament this year, go get the scissors, break them out of the glass case, cut down the nets. That is a story that I hope everybody gets to see.
That's great.
Wofford University. Free throw shooter. Shoots 31%. Headband, balding, looks like he's 85 years old. Goes, starts shooting free throws like he's 85 years old. Underhanded, granny free throws. Rick Barry comes in to coach him up on his free throws. Now shooting over 75% from the free throw line. Underhanded free throws. Look at the hairline on that. That thing is receding. Oh boy. But hey,
He needs
he's
some
making the
biotin.
dance. He's making the dance. Let's talk about American University. Dwayne Simpkins, Maryland alum. Dwayne Simpkins was the point guard during my freshman year. Took us to the dance. You'll see video of the game in '93 when they beat Georgetown. He gets a layup, with seconds left. Head coach at American. Time for these little guys to get a little bit of play. 3 new teams make the dance this year. Southern Illinois, Edwardsville had never made it before. University of Nebraska at Omaha and High Point University all making it for the first time. Let's celebrate the little guys a little bit. Going to have a great first 4 days. No one's ever going to care after that. So let's talk about what you should care about, the back half. And we'll all have our picks next week. But here's some statistics for you if you want to get some advanced bets in, even now before the brackets get laid out. There are only 9 teams that have a top 21 ranking offensively and a top 31 ranking defensively. Historically, if you've done that, 96% of the championship teams have hit both of those. This year, you have 9 teams that fit that category. Auburn, the Gators, Houston, Duke, Texas Tech, Iowa State, Clemson, Arizona,
And Maryland.
So your national champion will come from one of those 9 teams.
All right.
Take that to the bank.
Fear the turtle.
Fear the turtle.
Don't step on the shell.
All right. Let's finish it off with Sans My Paper. What's Sans Your Paper this week, Trickster?
Well, what sands my paper is, who do you think you are? Fair question. You think you're Billy Badass? You better prove it. Don't let your alligator mouth get your hummingbird ass in trouble like mine has done many a time. But I'd like to start with the AAC, the American Athletic Conference. Who do you think you are telling every school, with the exception of Army and Navy, I guess because they're a cadet school, that you must spend a minimum of $10 million on NIL money? If that school doesn't want to spend money on players because you're irrelevant, because of the size school you have, why should they be forced to do it? So the AAC, who do you think you are?
Well, I don't think they're making Navy do it because Navy's in the Patriot League, but that's okay.
Then it was the 2 service academies.
It could be Air Force and Army.
Maybe, but I know Army for sure. I remember maybe it's Air Force. Either way, the other 10 teams in that league, they shouldn't be making them pay. Second of all, AAC, not to be confused with AOC, who do you think you are? You think you're so special and cute and important, which you're not, to be the second to last conference to decide who goes to the dance and your champion is? You're so irrelevant, you should already be done on Friday, not Sunday just before the Big Ten. Who do you think you are? I'm so done with this. It sands my paper. And the final one, TikTok. Who do you think you are? We don't put up that many videos. There's no hate speech about it. It's all about content and being relative. Andrew Tate, we mentioned his name. Apparently just his name, according to TikTok, it's hate speech. Because one of our few videos, shorts that we put up, apparently got pulled down on the China-based company.
That's it did.
So those 3 things are what's saying my paper, because who do you think you are?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
They can all suck a bag of potatoes.
Oh, I thought
He got it in again. He got it in again.
I thought the putter throw was coming.
Oh, so did I.
I thought the putter throw was coming.
All right. Well, that's another great show. We will be back. Announcements for next week. We'll be coming to you live on Tuesday. The guys are going to make their picks pre-tournament. It'll be our Hoop Madness special leading into the tournament, so the guys will make those picks. I need you out there, America, to wish me well this week, because I have been paired with the killer, and I am in big trouble. But we will have some live broadcasting from our man Sean O'Rourke this weekend on the event taking place out at the Dunes. That has been the Mike Scully Show for this week. Again, we can't do it without you. Please follow, like, and subscribe, and we will see you Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching.
Scully's playing with Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
The killer.
The golf swing of a 10, buddy.
Team K, baby.
Did you like Dr. Heben catching a stray?
Or a tampon.
He's still at Fridays.